Hello, hello, hello. Oh boy, I know you guys were expecting to see Akintunde, but he's on a little hiatus today. He's doing something very special. He is at the Stellar Awards. And we are so proud of him and so glad that he is doing something as important as that. But he left us here to run the show. So Jaleel, Pastor Tuck, we have Tristan, Eric, and Lexus. We are all here today. I'm Donna J. And we're here today, and we're just going to sit in for Ak today. So I hope that you're going to stay with us today. But what we wanted to talk about today, I want to give you a story about what happened to me. When I was about 12 years old, my mom told me to run an errand for her. It was a very important errand. She told me to go to the store, go to the bank with a check, $65. I can never forget that, $65. When I got down to the bank, which was about 30 minutes walking, and you know, at that time, kids could go ahead and walk around town, no problem. So when I got to the bank, and even though I didn't want to go, I went for her. And on my way back, I didn't hurry home. I just kind of took my time and made it home. So when I got home, my mom was like, "Where is the money?" And I reached in my pockets, 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. I didn't have the money. And she looked at me with disbelief, with, "You must be kidding me," you know. Then it went to denial, of course. "What? You don't have my money." Then it went to anger. And then it went to rage. "You better go find my money." So I went back to the bank, walked back to the bank, and came back, could not find the money. The look on my mother's face was of disappointment and sadness. And that's something that I will never forget. But in that moment, I felt like I had to apologize. "Mommy, I'm sorry." And I said that to keep me from getting my tail whooped. And I said, "Mommy, I'm so sorry." Still saying that to keep from getting my tail whooped. And then I said it one more time. When I saw her face of disappointment, I said, "Mommy, I'm so sorry." That's because I hurt her. I hurt her and disappointed her in a way that when I remember it since I was 12 years old. So when we apologize, there's a reason why we apologize. There's a way that we apologize. When I apologized, when I said I'm sorry the third time, that came from my heart. The other two was from fear. You know, from fear, because I knew she was going to kill me. I could see the rage in her eyes, and I knew she was going to kill me. But the third time, it was because, like I said, the disappointment that and knowing I had let her down, that really stuck with me to this very day. And I never wanted to let her down again. So I tried to be very good after that. But, you know, what are things that you've had to apologize for? You know, that's what we're talking today. We're talking about the apology language, the who, what, where, when, why, and how of apology, of apologizing, the language of apology. Why are you apologizing? You know, what does it sound like? Are you apologizing for drinking the orange juice and leaving just a little bit in the refrigerator? Are you apologizing for that? Were you apologizing for taking the car and going to another state and come back? I know somebody who did that. Are you apologizing for forgetting an important date like a birthday, an anniversary? Are you apologizing for that? How do you do that? What about ditching someone that you've gone out with and you think is pretty cool, but then you want to go out with someone who you think is a little more interesting? How do you apologize for that when they find that out? Well, we're going to talk all about that. We have a special guest on today, and we're going to talk all about the apology language. We're going to get really in-depth with it. And I hope that you stick around. I hope that you're going to be here. And like Ak always says, please tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your cousin, tell everybody, and take the time right now to share this room. Because we are here today on the Akintunde Show. We're running it. So when we come back, we're going to welcome all our guests in Clubhouse. But right now, you go ahead and get your people together. Tell them the Akintunde Show is on right now, and they need to get here to learn the apology language today. So we'll see you when you come back. And Jaleel, as Ak would say, it's time. Let's go.
Another track layer production, but no joke entertainment. Let's go.
Akintunde is gonna make you laugh real loud. So come on, scream it out. Akintunde is gonna make you laugh real loud. Now, Akintunde.
Daily I shall.
It's the Akintunde Show.
Say what? Say what?
You heard what I said.
That's right, y'all.
The Akintunde Show.
Spell it.
A-K-I-N Tunde.
Looking for promotional products and apparel? Look no further than P&B Promotionals. Place your brand and logo on just about anything with P&B Promotionals. Over 800,000 products. Caps, travel mugs, drawstring bags, water bottles, stadium cups, umbrellas, tote bags, and t-shirts. P&B Promotionals is a nationally certified advertising company. Log on to pbpromotionals.com and start your order now. pbpromotionals.com.
Imprinting the best for less.
Hello, I'm Dr. Aaron Bishop, and this is my new book, For Such a Time as This, The Urgency of Now. In today's society, we need transformational leaders like never before. Transformational leaders are those who maximize the impact while creating positive change. If you're ready to create positive change and maximize your impact, please go get my book today at bishopspeaks.com. That's right, bishopspeaks.com, and order your copy today for such a time as this.
At my church, we help people get better by teaching them how the word works. And we want to make sure there is no excuse not to get the word. It's our goal to make all of our ministries accessible on every smartphone, tablet, PC, and television connected to the internet. So whether you're a man who needs some wisdom, a woman who needs some encouragement, or a couple who needs guidance, the My Church channel has just what you need. Simply search for the My Church channel on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV, or visit mychurchchannel.org. You can also download the My Church on the Go app from Apple or Google Play App Store. Constantly on the move? Check out the Word at My Church podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Or simply download the Word at My Church skill on your Alexa-enabled device. But whatever you do, make sure to stay connected. See you soon.
Greetings. I am Darrell Presley, owner and operator of Presley Cares Mortuary Services of West Columbia, South Carolina. Our mission here at Presley's is to provide excellent, quality, superior funeral service to all, regardless of economic status, religion, or race, with our society being embedded with a diverse class of people. Our staff here at Presley's pledges to offer only one class of service, and that is superior. So rendering professional services to the families that call upon us is not an option, it's mandatory. Presley Cares Mortuary Services, where we are caring for you and your loved one.
Hey, we're back. We're back. All right. I'm so excited because we have a powerhouse show for you today. We have a powerhouse show. And if you're just tuning in, Ak is not here today. So you get us, me and Pastor Tuck. And we have a very special guest. And he is at the Stellar Awards, y'all. The Stellar Awards, aren't you? Look. It's amazing. First of all, he goes back year after year doing the Stellar Awards, and we're so proud of him. And just happy that they see the value in having him come back every year. I'm ecstatic about it. So I wish I could be there. You have our prayers. We're there with you in spirit, and we love you, and we hope you have a blast. We'll see you when you get back from Vegas. Okay, so right now we're going to go and we're going to say hello to and good morning, as Ak would do. We are saying good morning to Chef Elisa. Good morning. Paul, Natalia, Ashley. Good morning, you guys. Kimberly, Shantaria, Tori Free. Good morning, everyone. Benjamin, Paul, Marion. Hey, Marion. Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly. Good morning. Celeste. Good morning. Jalen. Good morning. Chanel. Good morning to you. We have, let's see, Minister Wade. Good morning to you. Welcome. Leon. Hello, Leon Campbell. Welcome. We have, I'm like Ak now. Oluwatoyin. I hope I said that right. Oluwatoyin. We always get on him about messing up names, so I guess I hope I got that right. Good morning to you, darling. Good morning. And we have Takesha and Erica. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. And okay. Well, we have you guys here. We just want to say good morning to you, and we thank you for coming in. We don't take that lightly that you came and are with us as we take over for Ak this morning. Wow, we're in the big dog chair today, so that's good. So we're gonna keep on. We're gonna keep the show rolling. I didn't have a rap because I can't do a rap, so I didn't have a rap. So I'm sorry about that, but. Maybe my co-host and partner here today has a rap. Come on, bring on Pastor Tuck. All right. Hey, Pastor Tuck. How you doing this morning?
Doing all right.
It is us. Let's see.
We're not doing no freestyling.
We're not doing no freestyle. I can hardly hear you, Pastor Tuck. Let's see.
In our lane. You can hardly hear me?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Jaleel might need to turn your headphones up. Y'all can hear me on Clubhouse, all right?
All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, Pastor Tuck. Say 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay, no. Okay. I'm not sure, Jaleel. You checking out Pastor Tuck? Well, we just gonna roll on while they're making those little changes.
They say we good on Clubhouse.
Oh, we good. Okay, wonderful. They said we're good on Clubhouse.
No Leslie Cornell on Facebook. No, Pastor Tuck is not gonna freestyle. Pastor Tuck's freestyle is not saved. Y'all have to understand when Pastor Tuck used to freestyle, Pastor Tuck was not saved, and that unsaved freestyle spirit did not follow me when I got saved. So I left that over there. So no. I can freestyle very well, but I'm afraid of the words that might come out.
Uh-oh.
So I left that spirit right where it is.
Okay. Well, Pastor Tuck, we're going to leave the freestyle spirit there because, when Ak does it, it's very special. That's all I can say. It's very special.
It's very special.
It's very special.
If I could get my freestyle spirit saved, it probably would do wonders for the body, but the Lord ain't told me to bring him over yet, so I'm gonna leave him over there with Tuck. Pastor ain't learned how to do this yet, but Tuck he pretty good, but
I can't.
Want to hear what Tuck got to say?
Boy, I can't imagine. Woo! My ears probably would just burn up.
Exactly. Come bust into flames.
Well, we don't want that to happen. Not today. Just not today.
No,
but maybe one day we might have to see what that sounds like. But we'll just beep 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 beep. We'll put beeps there. So, but then it won't be a freestyle.
Long beep.
Yeah.
Sound like the test of the emergency broadcast system.
Yeah.
You
So,
know, I was laughing when you were talking about Ockers in Vegas at the Stella Awards.
uh-huh.
I told my wife that yesterday, and I said I get PTSD every time I think about it because that was the last time we were in Vegas.
Oh,
Ock was
wow.
doing the Stella Awards in Vegas in 2019,
Uh-huh.
and I surprised Pastor Stephanie and took her because Ock told me we were going to be in Stella Awards, and so he'd invited me to go, and so I surprised her because my wife is a musician. She played piano for years and sang in the church and everything. So she's big on gospel music, and so I was surprising her. We went out there, and we get out there, and we at the hotel. I mean, I did it up big, Donna. We staying at the brand new
What?
Aria Resort out there, which is a
Ooh.
non-casino resort. I
Uh-huh.
mean, they had just built the Aria back then. I mean, it was brand new. I mean, we doing it up, and so we're gonna be out there all week and everything. And so we get out there, and I go over to the sister hotel, the Vidara, right across the street. They got a
Uh-huh.
juice bar over there. So I go get me a cold press green juice because I was drinking my green juices, doing all that kind of stuff. And evidently, they had this green juice had been exposed some kind of way. It got contaminated,
Uh-oh.
and
Oh,
I ended
that's
up getting food poisoning.
what?
And
That's going ooh.
I mean, right at the very beginning of the trip. And so I remember we getting ready to go to the Stella Awards the first night. I think it's called the Young Emerging Artist Night or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm about to go pick Ak up from his hotel and then come back and get past Stephanie. She's getting dressed. And
Uh-huh.
so I got dressed. I'm getting in the car and I'm going to pick up Ak. And on the way over, my stomach's not feeling well. So I'm
Oh,
sitting down
bubble guts.
outside waiting for Ak. And so he's, Ak's running late. So I'm standing outside and I'm sitting there. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I ain't feeling too good. So I
Uh-huh.
jump out and I run. There's a trash can out there. And I let it go. And so I'm like, okay. I'm thinking maybe I just got a little nauseous.
Uh-huh.
Thinking nothing of it. So Ak comes down, gets in the car. So me and him laughing, joking. We on the way back over to pick up past Stephanie. And so now we wait for her to come down while we sitting there, stomach still not acting
Uh-oh.
right.
Uh-oh.
I jump out the car again, go over to the trash can, let it go. I'm like, okay, gotta be good now. It's out my system.
Uh-huh.
So we still going. We supposed to be going to. Matter of fact, we were going to the Monique show,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and because no, we went to. I think we went to the Emerging Stellars the night before,
Uh-huh.
and so we're supposed to be going to the Monique show. That's what it
Uh-huh.
was, because Monique was doing her residency in Vegas, and Ak used to
Oh, wow.
work with Monique,
That's right. That's right.
and
Yeah, that's a
so
writer. Yeah.
so we're on the way to the Monique show. So we're driving there, and I'm feeling it, and so Ak and Stephanie they talking and they laughing, and I'm just kind of quiet. And
Uh-huh.
and I'm sure they wondering why I'm not saying nothing, but I'm trying to hold it in, and I'm trying not to let them know that I'm not good. So
Uh-huh.
we get
Right.
to you in Vegas traffic, and I'm trying to hold myself together. By the time we get to Monique's hotel, we pull over, and I have to pull to the corner of the parking lot, and I jump out
Oh.
and I go in a bush. And so I park the car. We go in. I'm thinking I gotta be good now. This 3 times.
Oh, man.
So now we go all the way into the casino. We walk through the casino. We get into the little club space, and we in there, and the show started. And we sitting in there, and the show's going on, and I'm just sitting there, and my stomach is, and I'm like, ugh.
Wow.
And at a certain point, I'm just like, I'm rocking, and I'm trying, and literally
Sweating and everything, right?
sweat.
'Cause you don't
Oh, you talking
sweating.
sweat
I
ball?
know it
I'm
was.
sweating
Ooh,
bullets,
that's
and I'm
what
like, oh
happened.
my god! I said, you cannot sit here and just ruin this. I mean, we sitting in VIP. I mean, so
Uh-huh.
it's like, I'm like, you just gonna make a scene in here in the middle of Monique show. You can't do this. And so I get up, and of course,
Uh-huh.
I'm not even thinking right now because I'm trying to hold it together.
Right.
Not thinking you in a club. There's got to be a bathroom in here. I'm thinking the only bathroom I passed was when we first walked in all the way to the other end of the casino.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I get up and I go out of the club, and I'm trying to find my way back to the front of the casino, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. So now I'm about to make a scene in the middle of the casino. And so when I come out, there's a bus stand, where the bus boys stand right here, and there's a tray like the empty glass, and I said, and he got some of those little red cups. And I said, can I get one of those cups? And so he gives me the cup, and I start going in the cup, and I'm filling up the cup. And so dude just hands me the tray, and I start going in the tray. And so dude's looking at me like, he's looking at me like, this dude just drunk. And I'm like, and I look at him and I'm like, I promise you I'm not drunk. I'm sick. And so, I'm going. And I said, man, is there another bathroom? He said, yeah, it's right there. And I was like, so I don't walk past the bathroom trying to find a bathroom. So I go in the bathroom and I'm giving up, not inside. And I'm just in there and I'm in there. I come back and I try to sit down and I got to get up and I go back. And so Pastor Evan trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm like, I'm all right. Because I don't want her to get upset because then she's going to want to leave. So I'm trying to make her enjoy this trip.
Right.
And so after a while, the show's coming to an end. And so she's supposed to get to meet Monique and Rodney and everybody. So I'm sitting back and I'm trying to hold out. And so finally, Ak goes backstage because Monique goes back and she's got an experience where the people have waited to see her.
Right.
And so Ak's backstage with her. So Stephanie's standing there talking to Rodney Perry. I'm in the bathroom. So when finally Ak comes back out and I'm still not out, he comes in the bathroom looking for me. And I'm like, I'm all right. I'm going to stay in here. You make sure she meets Monique.
Right.
And I'll leave when y'all ready because I need to stay in here right now. And Ak was like, no, man. He goes and tells her. And she's like, no, we got to go.
Pastor Stephanie, that said we got to go.
Of course, you know that's my wife.
Yep.
And so we get in the car. So now Ak's driving back to the hotel and I'm leaning up against the window. And so Ak's driving, and so we in Vegas traffic, and so and I'm trying to hold it, and like I said, we in Vegas traffic. I'm like, I need you to pull over. Ak finds some little side street, pull over. I'm on the side of somebody's building. I don't know what building this is. Somebody got to work the next morning, got a surprise because this is all on the side of their building.
Man.
And all I know is I'm standing on the side of the building and I feel somebody standing over behind me, pat me on my back. Ak standing there, pat me on my back.
See, that's your friend. That's your friend.
That's my wife. My wife was like, that's your homeboy right there.
That's right.
Because ain't nobody else doing that.
That's right. Girls, we usually hold each other's hair back,
Exactly.
And let it go. So he was patting you on your back because you probably didn't have no hair to hold back right there.
Exactly. Exactly. And so the rest of that week I spent in the bed, Gatorade, ginger ale, and she spent the rest of the week in the room, eating getting room service. And she didn't even get to go to the major Stellas because she wouldn't go without me. I was gonna come get her and take her, but she wouldn't go without me. No. So I was so upset because she didn't get to go to the real Stellas. She didn't get to go to the big night. And the whole week we sit in the hotel. I mean, Donna, the room service bill was more than the whole room. Week.
Man!
But that was the last time I went to Vegas. I was like,
that was a Vegas trip to remember.
Yeah, that just ruined Vegas for me because Vegas used to be my city. That just ruined Vegas for me.
Well, so now we're talking about apologizing today. So did you apologize to Stephanie that, did you apologize? Did you feel like you had to apologize to her?
My apology was you order whatever you want for room service. And she did. Cause like I told you, when I got back, the room service bill was in the thousands. Like I said. I mean, like she ordered what she wanted, 3 meals a day. I mean, and I'm telling you, this is a brand new hotel. They had robots bringing her food to the room. She would get to the door, and there was a little robot at the door had her food. So I mean, it was nice. We had a room with the little remote control with raise the blinds in the window. I mean,
awesome.
I told you I had done it up, Donna. I was like, we was balling. I was balling out this trip. You understand?
Big baller.
And I spent the whole week in the bed.
Yeah. Oh man. See, that was one of those apology languages that we're going to talk about, making restitution, which makes making everything all right. So yes. So man, so that was great. That was a great story, a terrible experience, but it made for a great story. And we have I just was calling him Mr. Apology Language all while I was doing my research and everything. Called him Mr. Apology Language. But we have today. You know who we have today, Pastor Tuck? We have Paul Briggs. Paul
Wow.
Briggs today. Yep. And Paul Briggs is the executive producer of, and I don't, is, he gonna have to forgive me because I don't know if it's Live Live or Live Enterprises because it's spelled the same way. So I didn't know which one it was. So he can tell us. And that's they specialize in video production, web streaming, social media, DJ services, voice work, acting, and photography. That's what he does. He's responsible for over 1,500 plus live event productions. He also spearheads the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference as the director of video and live production. He's the video liaison for the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, which has representatives from all NBA teams and about 400 international scouts. And he's a moderator for the OC After Show. So right after this, you could go to the OC After Show, and Paul Briggs runs that along with Celeste and Kimberly, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, but Ashley Bailey. Yep. So he runs that. So after this show, they'll go and open up the After OC show, and you can go and you can continue the conversation from this one right here, and that's in Clubhouse. So without any more further ado, I'm gonna put this music on for him. Okay, let's see. Y'all, welcome to the stage, Mr. Paul Briggs. Y'all put your hands together. Hey, Paul, how are you? Yay. We're so glad. Look, we got that little sexy music going for you. Yeah, Paul Briggs. Because you got that voice, you know. Go ahead, Barry White. Go ahead.
Salutations to the stage.
All
Ladies
right,
and gentlemen, we thank you for that introduction. You're listening here to the Akintunde Show, here on YouTube, Clubhouse, or wherever my church channel, or wherever you get your podcasts. That's the drop intro.
Welcome.
You know, Julia can cut and paste that. It's actually Live Live. It's the only version of the four you didn't say.
Oh, man. I was like, okay, it's spelled the same, but okay, Live Live Enterprises. Okay, there we go. But you have a plethora of things that you are doing. You know, you there's no grass growing under your feet. No grass at all. And then to go to apologizing and to teach us about the 5 apology languages. I'm open because, you know, I have to apologize every day working at Delta Airlines to people I don't even know for delays. For
stuff you didn't do.
Oh, exactly. You made my flight late. You delayed my flight. You canceled my flight.
Yeah, I took a wrong turn, and I'm sorry.
I was like, I'm sorry. You lost my bag. You know, all like, oh Lord. So every day it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. And you know, sometimes it's genuine, sometimes it's not. What about you, Pastor Tuck? Do you apologize? Sometimes it's genuine, sometimes it's not.
I'm not big on apologies.
Oh.
Unless I know I've actually done something wrong. And if I've done something wrong, I'm usually not the just say I'm sorry type, because I think words are empty sometimes.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten to that place where people just misuse words.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, you can just, people say I'm sorry, and I'm like, you don't mean that.
Mm-hmm.
That there was nothing to that at all. I mean, we see that all the time in the customer service industry.
That's right.
Like you said, where something that just happened, and oh, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
You could care less.
You're right. Exactly.
And what I'm telling you right now just cost me some money. It just cost me some time. And I could care less how you feel about it.
Exactly.
I want to know what you're going to do about it. This is not a sorry situation. So apology is not even appropriate. And so, you know, I'm very particular about that word, you know, that the apology, because people think apology just means saying I'm sorry. And for me, an apology is not that. Apology is actually, and like I said, I know we're going to get into what these things mean, but apology means actually doing something to make the situation better, to make the situation right, to fix it. Because if you're not going to do anything to make restitution or actually repair the situation that you broke or messed up, or you know what I'm saying, to make it right, then you're not apologizing.
That's right.
So I'm like, let's stop calling it that. Well, I apologize. No, you didn't. You said you were sorry. And you can say you could have said you don't care, and it didn't make any difference. Those just
it sounded
words.
the same, right? It
Sounded the same.
So
you gave it the same sentiment.
So we know that Pastor Tuck's apology language is making restitution. Is that right, Paul?
Yes, definitely. I concur with Pastor Tuck because that's mine as well. You know, I
Okay.
know you saw it. What you gonna do about it?
That's
You know,
right. That's right.
That's definitely mine as well.
That's right.
Definitely.
Okay, well, Paul, let's dig in here. Let's get in here and talk about these apology languages. Let's roll up our sleeves and presto, as they used to say on one of those little cartoon shows. Presto. Okay, so let's
That
go
or
with the.
abracadabra.
All right. Let's go with the apology languages. Let's go. So, what are they, Paul? What are they?
Yes. So we're going to start with, first of all, I want to start with the background how I even fell into this.
Okay.
So
Okay. Great.
I had my baby sister gave me a book called 10 Things I Wish I Knew Before I Got Married,
Oh.
by Dr. Gary Chapman, the same gentleman that wrote about the 5 love languages. Now, I got this book after I was divorced, but it would have been helpful to know this. But there's a chapter in there, I think it's chapter 5, where it talks about the apology languages. I remember being on the plane and I was so blown away. I literally couldn't read anything else for the next 3 months because everything I wanted to read was learning about these apology languages. And what it did is it allowed me to see the matrix for the first time, almost like from the standpoint of when people are in conflict, what they're going to do is go into what their default apology language is, as far as whether they feel like, okay, yeah, there was true or genuine or not. And whatever their default is, and people hold to that even more stronger than they do their love language. My
Wow.
family, one of our favorite movies is Major Pain, so effectively neutralize the situation. So
Right.
one of the things I used to do with my staff is, I used to ask them, okay, what is their personality type? What is their love language? What is their apology language? Because we're gonna have conflict, so
Oh
I
yeah.
need to know
Oh yeah.
how we're
Yeah.
going to neutralize it and then come to a resolution. Not so much that I can just check a box off, but that way we can be effective as a team. So
Right.
the 5 languages, the first one is expressing regret. The second one is taking accountability. The third one is making restitution. The fourth one, you can say either plan change or genuine repenting. And the last one is requesting forgiveness. Those are the
Okay.
5. Yeah.
Wow.
It's fun. It's funny, Paul. You were talking about that book. I had a friend of mine gave me that book, and he and his wife had just he was actually on his getting ready to get married, I think, for the second time. And he told me that if he had that book, he probably wouldn't have gotten divorced the first time.
hmm
And I remember
Yeah.
me and my wife read it, and we started sharing that with couples when when they would get married. And it's funny because, like I said, a lot of that stuff helped us early on. Prior to me writing our book on marriage. But that it's funny when you said that title the first time. I was like, I've heard of that book before, and I remember that because that was early on in our marriage. But yeah, that is a very good book.
Yeah. And I
Wow.
know
Wow.
Dr. Chapman went ahead and expounded because so many people responded to the apology languages that he wrote a whole nother book on just apology languages by itself.
Wow.
But yeah, but Pastor Tuck is definitely a good book. My personal favorite chapter is the one where it said, the one thing I wish I knew is that toilets are not self-cleaning. That's
Oh, look at that.
my personal
Okay.
favorite chapter. The
Mm-hmm.
toilets are not self-cleaning. You have to read the book to
Mm-hmm.
understand what that's all
What
about. I'm
that
not gonna
meant.
go into it and
Okay.
explain that.
Well,
Yeah.
let's do the deep dive into the we're going to talk about each of those categories of love languages, but first let's check and see what the people are saying in the comments. and woo, they're blowing up. So I guess I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. You know, Jalen Hinton said, "What's the book called again? What's the book called again?" Go ahead. You can tell her what that book is called. Is it The Apology Language by Mr.
Yes,
Chapman?
there's a fuller one, yes, by Dr. Gary Chapman, The
Mm-hmm.
Apology Languages or the
Mm-hmm.
5 Apology Languages. Or if you want the snippet version of it, that
Mm-hmm.
me and Pastor Tuck was referencing,
Mm-hmm.
that's called The Things I Wish I Knew Before I Got Married,
All
by Dr.
right.
Gary Chapman.
Okay. All right. Leon Campbell. Leon Campbell's in the house. He said, "Bless the peoples at Paul." So bless the people. Janice Johnson, my sister. Hey, Janice.
What's
She
up,
said, "Hi,
Janice?
fam. Hope you're feeling better." Kimberly Morgan said, "When clients blame me, I always say, have a blessed day and leave it there." Yes. Yep. Kimberly, that's all in the South. I know they say, bless you. Just bless you. Bless her. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. You know. So
That's not an
Kimberly,
apology. Bless her
no,
heart,
it's
that's not
not.
an
It's
apology.
like, Um, Ashley Bailey said, "Every time Pastor Tuck sees the Vegas sign, his stomach just bubbles from the memory, a muscle memory he can't forget."
Well,
Ashley,
they say that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so let's hope that,
let's leave. Yeah.
whatever ailed them stayed in Vegas,
Yes.
and never follow no
I can
sin.
tell I can tell you one thing.
Uh-huh.
You can't give me no cold pressed green juice no more.
Oh man, no, we don't want that again. Ashley Bailey also said, "LOL Seagrams, I'm a Canada Dry girl myself, so I'm assuming she's talking about you, Pastor Tuck. Should have had some
Yeah,
little Seagrams or
ginger ale.
something,
Talking about
ginger ale."
ginger ale. Yeah.
Some Ashley said also, "Some say vomit puddles are there till this day." That was a
What you
lot.
trying to say? It's like one of them Old Testament altars that just,
It
it's just
just
there. Like,
there, just
okay,
Yep. Kimberly Morgan said, "Today's show is sponsored by Pepto Bismol and Seagram's ginger ale."
I am a Schweppes guy. Now, I have full disclosure. I am a
Schweppes.
ginger ale, root beer, and sparkling cider connoisseur.
Oh,
You can, if I've had it before, you can give it to me in a blind sample, and
uh
I
huh.
can taste it and tell you what brand it is.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I'm a Schweppes guy. I'm a Schweppes guy.
Schweppes.
Canada
Mm-hmm.
Dry, not so much.
I've never heard anybody say they're a Schweppes guy in ginger ale.
Schweppes, yes.
Definitely
But
unique in
it's a
there.
little
That's
on the sweet
unique.
side, I do admit. But I'm a
Mm-hmm.
Schweppes guy all day. If you're gonna give me the choice, give me Schweppes all day long.
All
All
right.
day long.
So Leon Campbell says, "Sounds like the Vegas Doodoo Brown version." Uh-oh. Ashley Bailey
No,
said, "Go ahead. Pastor Tuck is
no,
just leaving the evidence everywhere."
yeah, that was DNA all over. That was DNA all over Vegas.
Kimberly Morgan said, "It sounds like a typical Vegas vacation from a movie." Ew. Leon Campbell said, "Ew." Okay. That's how you said it, Leon? Ew. Okay. All right. Yep. Kimberly came with all the green emoji faces, sick faces. Ashley Bailey said, "This story is making me sweat just thinking about it. Just drank some Pepto Bismol to calm my nerves. The bubble guy, the bubble she must have been the bubble gut sweat is something different." And it is. It is. That's something way different. That's something way different. Okay.
My co-host for the after show.
That's it. That's it. Let's say, let's go. Ashley Bailey said, "It's okay, Donna. We are thankful for the freestyle free introduction, too." Ha! See? All right. All right.
I
Okay.
had one, but I was like, nah. I said, as a DJ, you always got to have some musical on deck. So
Uh-oh. She
I
got
was I was
something.
gonna
Look.
do actually one of my favorite pieces, but I was like, I may
Uh-oh.
save it for the after show, so that way they can hear my dulcet tunes on that.
Well, we may get like in the next 30 minutes or so. We might go to that. We might go to that. So you ready? You ready? We might go to
Born
that.
ready,
But
born,
okay.
born.
Okay. Well, we got our little comments, and we're gonna just continue on now. We're gonna get into the apology languages. So let's get into the first one, Paul. Let's just start. Let's just jump in. So
Yes,
the
expressing
first one
regret,
is
expressing regret.
mm-hmm.
Yes, expressing regret is simply saying is just doing that, expressing saying that I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Is also one of the ones where, especially for people who are challenged emotionally, to
Mm-hmm.
connect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Expressing regret is definitely, it's just basically them just saying I'm sorry and acknowledging the fact that they've hurt or they offended, their said person. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so that's expressing regret. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the first one.
Okay.
That one's pretty simple. It's just saying,
Right.
I'm sorry. They're not trying to, it's almost like they're just being aware in the moment. It's not a whole
Mm-hmm.
big thing of, hey, I'm trying to do something for it. Hey, help me with this. Hey, I'm going to ask you for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in a way, they're kind of taking ownership, but they're just acknowledging the fact that I hurt you deeply. I'm sorry. And it's just that. There's
Just that.
nothing more, nothing less.
Wow. So just I'm sorry. So that's where we first come into like when I was telling my mom, I'm sorry. So the first two from my story, the first two I'm sorry's was because I was scared. I didn't want to get a beating. So I was like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's not much to it. You just
Not
acknowledging
much,
that you're
much.
sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But that third one, when I saw her face and the disappointment in her face and that she wanted her money and I felt responsible, we'll talk about that. Okay, so what's the second the second apology language?
No. Now
Okay,
watch this.
okay, Pastor Tuck. Yeah, what you think?
This is the thing that we got to be real aware of in all this, because we're talking about your apology language.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're talking about your apology language, it's just talking about your love language, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be clear with this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're talking about your love language is gifts, that means what you desire is receiving gifts to
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're loved.
Right.
So your apology language is how you desire to be apologized to.
Mm-hmm.
So this first one is expressing regrets, is you want somebody to actually say they're sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you're a person that if I did something to you and I came home and brought you flowers,
Mm-hmm.
you still mad because I never actually said I was sorry.
Right. Right.
Because that's what you want. You want to hear the words.
I'm sorry.
And so I've said this before, and like I said, it may sound sexy to some people, but I believe that this first one is a more female oriented language, because men, we're not big on those words, because just like what Paul said,
Uh-huh.
this one is more of you acknowledging somebody's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And men are not big on you telling me, acknowledging my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't do a lot for me as a man.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why this one is one, and that's why men don't usually communicate that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, if that's one of your big things in a relationship, you need to be clear about expressing that to the person that you're with, because you may not get that unless you ask for it.
Mm-hmm. Like my mom, she didn't want to hear I'm sorry. So
Your mom definitely
that
was
not
making
her.
restitution because
That
she
was
wanted
Exactly.
she wanted her money.
Exactly.
That's
But
it's easy. You start picking it up. Yeah.
Yep.
and it's fun. And it's funny because it's one of those things I had to learn with my wife, because my wife is one of those people. She's big on, like I said, like a lot of ladies are big on that emotional validation.
Right.
And so the words like I'm sorry and thank you and all those kinds of things
Mm-hmm.
mean something to her.
Mm-hmm.
To me, those are just empty words.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, those are not words that I just throw out.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are things that she says to me a lot, and a lot of times I don't even acknowledge them.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to be rude, I just don't even say it. She said I said thank you, and I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't even register to me, because it's like, to me it doesn't mean anything. And I don't require it from people. When people tell me, oh, thank you, or oh, I'm sorry, I'm like, I don't require that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not a big deal for me when people say stuff like that to me. I'm like, I'm not one of those people that you have to say that to, that you have to tell thank you, that you have to say sorry, because I pay more attention, like I said, to your actions than those words.
Mm-hmm. So if somebody did something to you, you would not want them to say, I'm sorry? That
No,
like that means nothing.
I want to see some change.
Uh,
I want to see some actions.
mm-hmm.
Because if your actions, I don't care what you say.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't
And
actually do something about what you just did, then it means nothing to me. Because
Okay.
people say stuff all the time and they're disingenuous.
That's true. That's true. What were you gonna say,
I'm one of
Paul?
those people who believe
Okay.
actions speak louder than words. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and that's where, and especially when you're in a committed relationship like marriage or things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature, it's one of those things that sometimes even in your own, if you're the one offended, even
Mm-hmm.
in like again, like Pastor Tuck, I'm restitution.
Mm-hmm.
So if my significant other, if hers is expressing regret and she just
Mm-hmm.
saying she's sorry, sometimes I have to mentally let the spirit hit me, mentally check out and say, look, she doesn't know how to communicate to you in in the restitution, but her
Mm-hmm.
way by default, because that's the way that people give.
Right.
Just like how they give, how they love, they give, how they apologize as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes
Wow.
I almost have to check myself if that person's just not there yet. You know, I say,
Okay.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, Lord, even though I want it this way, I'm understanding this is them, and as long as they're genuine from that point of view, then
Mm-hmm.
fine. But we'll get there. But it's
Yeah.
just one of
Wow.
those things that sometimes when you're heated and in the moment, and
Yeah.
you just want to just pop off or whatever, and you're like, wait, hold on. Okay,
You
are
can't
they
even hear it.
apologizing? And then how they apologize and they pulling it from their point of view. I said, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll deal with this, and then we'll just address it later on when cooler heads can prevail.
Wow. Oh, okay. So we understand some people. I'll say men and some women. I'm sorry is just not enough. That's why there's more than one apology language. So what's number 2, Paul? Let's go to number 2.
Yes, number two. Number two is taking responsibility,
Ooh,
or
that's a
accepting
big one.
responsibility.
That's a
Number
big
two,
one.
this is for people. I always say now, for me, and for most people, your love language usually there's one or two that's pretty strong. There's one or two you kind of like, and then there's always a third one that kind of floats up and down, with
Uh
depending on
huh.
what season of life you're in.
Right.
The same thing with the apology languages. For me, it's making restitution, but I make one exception
Mm-hmm.
for people who are type A personalities, people that are say that's in positions of power or prestige, let's say like coaches,
Mm-hmm.
administrators,
Mm-hmm.
presidents, CEOs, for
Wow.
that group, because they normally have the means and wherewithal
Uh
to do
huh.
like if I need restitution to do whatever I'm asking for,
Right.
it would be a lot. I just want them to take responsibility, like own it.
Uh
I don't
huh.
want you to do anything for me. Don't give me nothing because you could have done that beforehand, before
Right.
stuff got off the rails. So for that group, that's what I want to take responsibility for. This is a group, especially for type A personalities, they really struggle with it because
Mm-hmm.
they're so used to being out in the front, out in the open, um, and usually if stuff, and you can tell if they have a real problem with this when blame comes their way and they shift
Mm-hmm.
it on others, or they do
Oh
red
wow.
herrings, or they gaslight. You
Uh
know,
huh.
that's where you know that that's where it's like, okay, taking responsibility, that one is gonna be your tough one.
Oh
Yes.
wow.
So
And they don't want to hear
um
excuses. You know, they don't want to. Those type people, they do not want to hear excuses. They don't
correct.
care what the excuse
They
was to
don't
them.
care
It was
why, they
just an
don't care what you're gonna
excuse.
do for them,
Yep.
they don't care any of
Mm-hmm.
that. They just want you to own it and just
Mm-hmm.
own and live with it, basically
Mm-hmm.
live with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
you know, it's funny too because number one and number two are almost complements to one another.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, especially when you're talking about in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times they don't want you to just express that you're sorry, but they want it. They want you to give
Uh-huh.
detail to what you actually did, to actually to give some more clarity to your wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, I said I was sorry. What are you sorry for?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the accepting responsibility for, because it's almost like I want. It's almost like that pound of flesh on an emotional level,
Uh-huh.
and it's just like Paul said. It's like you're trying to call somebody to the carpet.
Uh-huh.
Whether, like you said, if it's somebody in a position of power, you're trying to call somebody in the carpet. It's just almost the same thing in a relationship. You want them to actually own up to what they did wrong. So once again, this is something I also like say in relationships. A lot of times, this is more of a female characteristic because it's like I want you to acknowledge how you hurt me. I want you to acknowledge it. And once again, this is not something males typically do. It's like I don't need you to tell me you're sorry. I don't need you to talk about my feelings because that's not what it is. I want you to get this right. And you know, and that's one thing, like I said, even what Paul was just talking about with the type A personalities, the people in power, that's one place where I particularly differ. I could care less if the CEO or whatever took you know, any kind of responsibility or not. As long as I got my restitution, because his level of discomfort means nothing to me. It's not gonna make me more comfortable. I'm not that person. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if the fact that he gotta be embarrassed or, you know, he gotta come off his high horse for me. I don't care. What he does for me is gonna benefit my bottom line, you know what I'm saying, my situation, my circumstances more. So I want him to make some restitution. I want him to fix the situation that he broke over here. Because most of the time, like you said, it may be a drop in a bucket to him. He may not feel it at all. I could care less.
Right.
Because this is not an emotional thing for me. This is a principle thing for me.
And when you accepting responsibility, it very much so is a principle thing.
I guess for me, if I can comment back on
Go
Pastor
ahead.
Tuck,
Yeah, please
there's
do.
some things like with the restitution that I won't get back, like time, being in the child as a
Ooh,
child.
that's right.
If
That's
you have the
right.
parent that's always going on holidays, or always going on weekends and things of that nature, and it's like, well, I'm not getting that time back. I'm grown now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like you're not going to be able to make up that time when I was 10 years old. You
Right.
know, so it is or all the holidays and stuff we miss, or all the family gatherings that we could have had, but because you know you wanted to go off and do your own thing, and it's just
Right.
like it caused division, and so now it doesn't. That's all that time that's missed. I just need you to own it, because I just need you to own it, because trying to do something now, you could have did something then. You see what I'm saying? That's why my thing for that type A personality group, you could have did something then, because again, yes, I understand what Pastor talking about with the bottom line if it's something where it's financially driven, but outside of that, I'm like, there's something that's just not worth the money.
It's just not worth
And
it.
like my peace, my peace is one of them.
But let me give you a ministry moment in that particular point, that particular point you just made. At this point, you can't go back to fix that 10-year-old. So not even me telling you or taking responsibility and saying that was my bad, my fault, whatever, is going to fix what it's done to you as a 10-year-old. But what we can do is build something going forward. And so that's where the restitution would come in. Yeah, I messed up back then. We didn't spend that time together. But by me now putting in the effort to try to rebuild that bridge now, that's actual worth something to you if you're willing to accept that. But see, that the fact of me just saying, yeah, I was a horrible father, yeah, it may make you feel good in the moment because you feel like, yeah, you owe me that. You ain't never said, you know what I'm saying? It's a cheap win. You follow me?
Wow. Yeah.
And I think so many people get cheat. It's the enemy cheating you out of what you actually do by doing that. Because that's actually what he's trying to do. He's trying to cheat you out of what you actually do, the opportunity to heal and to move forward and to actually regain something, because you can't go back, but you can get something going forward. But he'll keep you from getting what you could have going forward by accepting this cheap settlement.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense because sometimes you can't get stuff back. And I know even like with like you were just talking about fathers, mothers who don't spend time, fathers who don't spend time. It's kind of hard to make restitution a lot of times, especially if that person is not willing to open up and say, okay. I mean, you can apologize all you want, but they've got to be willing to accept the apology. And, you know, a lot of times we get stuck on that. We get stuck in the pain and the hurt of it all. And we can't see forward to apologize, you know. So we can't see that
It becomes
apology.
a
We can't.
drug. It becomes like a
Mm-hmm.
drug or a crutch,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then never moving forward. And actually, Donna, that's a good segue to the third one, making
Mm-hmm.
restitution. That's me and Pastor Tuck's
Mm-hmm.
personal favorite.
That's it. That's it.
Making
That's the
restitution. All
man.
I want you to
That's
do
it.
is make it right. That's all I
Yeah.
care about.
Mm-hmm.
I know it ain't that deep. I know you sorry. That's why I don't hold nothing against you. Just pay me what you owe. You know, I'm good. We can roll on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
you
the
gonna
sun will
do for
rise
me?
tomorrow. The sun will rise again. So
Yep.
that's why I like. Let's go.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny because,
Uh-huh.
you know, I heard Pastor Chandler say it this way one day. He talked about those things being time traps, I think is what he called it,
Oh.
being stuck at a time in the past
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
somebody done hurts you and you're holding on to that place and now you can't move forward because you're stuck there
Mm-hmm.
waiting for something to happen. And you don't realize that that's a trap. It's
Mm-hmm.
keeping you stuck at that place and you can't advance.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, this and the whole time somebody may be offering you restitution. They're
Mm-hmm.
trying to rebuild a relationship. They're trying to take you forward.
Mm-hmm.
But because, like I said, you still want somebody to come and take ownership.
Right.
Because and a lot of times you've had people who are still stuck in those places because the person who did it may have passed on. That person may, you know,
That's right.
so you're never gonna get somebody to take responsibility
You'll
for that.
never get that.
Correct.
But
You'll never
Correct.
get
in the same token, they may have made a watch this.
Mm-hmm.
The same person, same situation. You had a father or whatever that wasn't there, like you said, when you was 10, didn't spend time with you, did all these kind of things. So now you're hurt. They have now passed on. So now they can't take responsibility. They can't say they're sorry, but they just left you an estate.
Mm-hmm. Left
So
you looking.
you know they left you in a state. You got $1 million sitting in the bank. So they were trying to make amends, but if you so bitter, I don't want nothing from them
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because you don't want to receive them trying to make restitution. You follow me?
Right.
So it's that, and that's one of those time traps that'll get you stuck there. But you know, and that's why my whole thing has always been, I don't care how you feel about it, what you gonna do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because once the situation has been broken, I got to deal with this. And if you broke it, I would rather you fix it.
Well, you know, and like he was saying earlier, sometimes they're gone. I mean, what do you do then? You're looking for something. You're looking for a way to heal from that, and you're only going to be able to get that from the inside because that person is gone and you're still looking. And so I'm a segue into looking for promotional products and apparel. Look no further than P&B Promotionals. Place your brand and logo on just about anything. With P&B Promotionals, over 8,000 products. 800,000 products. 800,000 products. Hats, mugs, backpacks, bottles, cups, drinking glasses, lip balm, chewing gum, candy, and of course, T-shirts. P&B Promotionals is a nationally certified advertising institution. Log on to pbpromotionals.com and start your order now. pbpromotionals.com, imprinting the best for less. P&B Promotionals. And then if you're in need of a quality used vehicle, well, consider my friends over at Woods Automotive Sales. Whether you're in the market for a new vehicle or a used vehicle, foreign or domestic, Woods Automotive can get you rolling. Give them a call at 803-401-5837, 803-401-5837, or go by and see Lester. That's right, our pal Lester at 802 Hazelwood Road, Columbia, South Carolina. Woods Automotive Sales, guaranteed to ride with a smile. That's right, guaranteed to ride with a smile. So we had to throw our little promos in there, and then we're going to get right back to it. I want to go ahead and read some comments before we get to number 3 4 and 5, because there's 5 of them. We're going to get to all 5 of them today, y'all. I promise, all 5. So Leon Campbell said, nice promo work, Donna. Thank you, Leon. Appreciate that. Leon also said, I'm glad my dad and I had the talk back in my early to mid-20s as he lived in another state and I barely saw him. We put the past behind us and started a new relationship as grown men. Yes. And you know, that's so important. And it's, you know, I think it's really very much so important when men can repair the relationships with their fathers. That is so important because that's where, to me, the whole breakdown of the family starts at the head, and the head is the man. So that when that was taken away, when the man was kind of almost forced out of the house, and then women had to step up and do different things, because even if you were getting assisted living or getting assistive like on welfare or whatever, they want the men out of the house. They cannot be anywhere around, and that just divides the family. Because what if that family just didn't have the father couldn't get a job somewhere? You know, what if he couldn't get a job somewhere? Not because he for lack of trying, but he couldn't. And they just broke it down that he cannot be in the household. That's a break. That's a break. That's damage. Sons running amok. Father's over here saying, well, I can't be in the household, so I'm going to do what I want to do over here. And it just breaks down society anyway. It just breaks it down. So for Leon to see his father and to be able to repair that relationship, that's awesome. Pastor Tuck, what do you think about that?
Oh, you're exactly right. And I think Leon said it well. He said genocide by design of the black family, and that's exactly what it is. And we have to recognize there's so many of these traps and schemes out here of the enemy to destroy the family. And that's a very important tool. And this thing of bitterness and unforgiveness is a tool that the enemy tries to use to destroy relationships, and he's been doing it for years. And so that's why this apology language thing is so important for us to be able to receive, because unforgiveness is one of those things that we think it hurts the person when we walk in unforgiveness, but it actually hinders us. It keeps us from being able to connect with God. And that's why Jesus is clear. He tells us to forgive, others as he has forgiven us. Because if we can't forgive others, then he can't forgive us. It keeps us out of proper relationship with God. And I always tell people this. I said, you've got to recognize that forgiveness has nothing to do with what the person did to you. It has to do with your obedience to God.
That's right.
When you look at it that way, it's not hard to forgive anybody once you realize that. If you can actually recognize that, it's not hard to forgive anybody.
That's right.
Because you have to recognize, what did they do to you that was worse than what God did for you?
Ooh, look.
Stop walking in front of the prophet.
All right.
I mean, that's something that's something we have to recognize. That there is nothing you can do to me that is worth more to me than what God did for me.
Man, that's
I'm like, I'm not going to sacrifice what God does for me because of something you did to me. That's crazy. So there's no way I'm going to sit and allow holding a grudge against you keep me from receiving from God.
Man,
and so that's why I got rules in my house. I tell them, nobody can upset me for more than 10 minutes. My wife gets 10 minutes. And if my wife only gets 10 minutes, nobody else can get anything close to that. My wife get 10 minutes, my kids get 5. So what do you think the rest of the world get?
Ooh, nothing.
Because I'm like, I can't go that long without hearing from God.
Nah. Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the world get 30 seconds. I mean, you don't even understand. I can't go that long without hearing from God.
Man, and that's powerful what you were just saying, Pastor Tuck. That's very powerful. And you guys, family out here today, Is there something that you needed to apologize for? Do you have a story that you can put in here? Drop them in the comments. Something that you needed to apologize for, or something that somebody apologized to you for. Drop it in the comments so we can discuss it. And then we're gonna move right on to what's the next one, Paul? What you got up next?
Number 4, genuinely repenting or plan
Oh,
change. Yes, that's number 4.
yes.
Yeah, so this is the
This.
one where
Yep.
I call it my help come on. That's the one I like to call it, my nickname for it. So with
Yes.
this one, this is where you're in a situation
Mhm.
where okay, I have blind spots. They said the
Mhm.
first thing to having change is acknowledging first that you have a problem. And this is
Yes.
where you realize I have a problem that I'm really, really struggling with, and
Mhm.
I need help. So
Mhm.
I'm going to ask for help for whoever's the person I offended,
Mhm.
and especially in marriage couples or other relationships like that of the nature. It's like this is where it become very powerful. It's like basically I'm asking you to watch my blind spots. Like
Well,
say for
okay.
example, if I'm the type of person that goes from 0 to 100 like that,
Boom, boom,
and
boom. Yeah.
and I'll just be quick tongue, and then I'm gonna
Mhm.
mess around, and say something that I
Mhm.
regret, and
Mhm.
then it's just gonna be scorched earth for everybody.
Mhm.
This is where, for when if I'm genuinely repenting, I'm like, look, I need help with this. I'm sorry, I apologize. I really need help with this. Can you help me with this?
Uh huh.
And in it, it could be like, say for example, in this example that I'm giving, that if I go from 0 to 100,
Mhm.
let's say for example, me and Donna was dating, and I was like, Donna,
Mhm.
I get quick tempered and things of that nature,
Mhm.
and I need your help. And Donna says to me, okay, Paul, since when I see you, if we out in public or we're just together, whatever, if I see you getting ready to cross the line, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up with this term. And this phrase may be
Uh
something
oh.
that's unique. Like
Uh
it could
huh.
be something like, hey babe, let's go take the turtles for a walk. So
We got
when I
a safe phrase.
right. So when you hear that phrase, that lets you know,
Uh
hey, you're about to go over the line,
huh.
pull it back in,
Uh huh.
stop, breathe, woosah,
Oh
or whatever
wow.
whatever you gotta do
Uh huh.
to kind of pull it back in. And so that's what genuine repenting is like, look, I know I have a problem. I'm sorry. I need help with this. Can you help me with this? Hey babe, let's
Uh
go
huh.
take the turtles for a walk. Okay.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
A great
And then
somebody hear
example
you
of
say
this.
that they
Yeah.
might think something else,
Uh
Paul. You might
huh.
want to come up with something else.
Let's go take
Some
the turtles for
Ever
us.
you
Look,
in
I
that partner,
said,
you're the
yeah,
let's go
person
yeah,
take the
yeah,
that
turtles for
you
yeah,
a
yeah,
walk.
offended.
yeah. But you say that somewhere in public, somebody will be like, oh.
Turtles. Y'all got
Turtle.
turtles?
It
Somebody be
could
like,
be, it could be,
They
it
they
could
will be
just
like, what they
be,
up to?
it
Ah,
could just be, and let your soul think because especially, um, again, I'd rather you think what turtles is than you
mm-hmm.
mad that I just went off on everybody and now
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to come to a family function or nobody wants to
Mm-hmm.
come to, what I'm saying, a baby's christening or something,
Mm-hmm.
or God forbid nobody want to come to a funeral,
Oh.
because it's like because I done pissed off everybody, no, 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 you don't want any of that, you don't want any of that. So
Mm-mm.
that's why I rather you just think what I'm gonna do with turtle soup. Is
Mm-hmm.
this a soup question? As Finding
Uh-huh.
Forrester would say. I
Turtles.
mean,
Turtles.
just let that be a
That's
great
right.
great example of this, especially in cinema. If you've seen the first Suicide Squad movie, the one that Will Smith was in and
Mm-hmm.
Margaret Robbie, there's a scene in there where there's a scene at the bar where the guy who was doing all the fire stuff, the pyro stuff, he was telling his origin story and how he got into an argument with his wife. He has a wife and had a young child. Got into an argument, but he's one of those guys that went from 0 to 100. And he got so mad, he ended up setting fire to everything and ended up burning up everything. And he ended up killing his wife and child.
Oh wow.
And by the time he realized it, it's too late. Again,
Mm-hmm.
they're dead, they're
Mm-hmm.
gone. And so he's been very remorseful and been carrying that. And Margaret Robbie looks at him and said, you need to own it. You need to
Mm-hmm.
own that right now, which tells you what her apology language is, which
Mm-hmm.
is taking
Taking
responsibility.
responsibility.
Because she wanted
Uh-huh.
him to own the moment. And his thing,
Mm-hmm.
is like, I need help with this. And the person I need help with, I can't get help from because she's dead. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you see the dynamic of those two apology languages in play in that
Mm-hmm.
scene.
Wow. And I'll be saying, I said, take the turtles for a walk. Take the
Is that
turtles
what
for
you're gonna tell
a
Rufus?
walk.
The next time you and Rufus get into it, that's what you're gonna tell Rufus.
Take the turtles for a walk. And I'll be like, later for them turtles. I'm out.
I don't care what kind of turtle, Ninja Turtles, Galapagos turtles,
I'm
I
done
don't care
with the
what kind of
turtles. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Diamondback turtles, all of them, don't matter.
It's funny, like I said, when you start talking about the whole genuine repentance,
Mm-hmm.
most people think that repentance is just being godly sorry, but repentance is a change of mind.
That's
Like
right.
you said, a change of direction, and so a change of behavior,
Right.
and so it requires all of that. And so in order to see that, and that's why some of these other apology languages wouldn't be appropriate, because let's say, like you say, you're in a relationship and you go out here and you're unfaithful.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I'm sorry, and then you go do it again. I'm sorry
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean anything
Mm-hmm.
if there's no change in behavior.
Right.
And that's why this is so important, especially like I said, when you're in relationships. If you've got something that you're doing and you're doing it consistently,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep saying you're sorry for it, even if you keep saying what you did wrong and you keep doing it, it doesn't mean anything. And that's why, like you said, I'm so big on number 3 and number 4, because it's like, fix it and change it.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, saying you sorry and taking responsibility for it doesn't mean anything,
Right. Right.
because you're going to keep causing the same offenses over again, and you're not going to fix anything that you broke. So the person is still in the same situation, even though you said these things. But that's why, to me, and that's why, like I said, most for as men, because we're action oriented, we like things fixed. We like situations. That's why we deal with things from this perspective, and that's why when you look at these, because they it makes more sense that men are going to see things from this perspective, and this is how we're going to operate in a relationship. Where women, if you're more emotional, you want somebody to say the words because they're going to make me feel a certain way,
Uh-huh.
and I want you to acknowledge what you did to me emotionally,
To me,
because this is
yes.
how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so once again, it's an understanding that we have two different ways that we operate, and be able to communicate those things to one another, so that we're giving and receiving what we need from one another, so that our relationships are in balance.
Yeah, so and with the repenting, like you were just saying, Pastor Chuck, words just aren't enough. They're not enough for that. There has to be change. There has to be change so that there's proof that you're growing, that you acknowledge what you've done, and so people that's their that's their apology language is they want to see action. They want to see action. They want to see proof. So, and that'll put us to number 5. Let's go on to number 5. Okay, let's go to number 5. And Paul, what is number 5?
Requesting forgiveness, number 5.
Man,
Number 5
oh
alive,
man,
yes. And
this is the
requesting
one.
forgiveness is for the group of people
Mm-hmm.
who is verbatim. If you do not ask them for forgiveness, you have not apologized, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
have to ask them for forgiveness. Like, you have to say, will you forgive me? They want to
Mm-hmm.
hear the words. It's kind of like a little bit like number 1.
Right.
They need to hear. They need the validation of
Mm-hmm.
hearing the words. Will you forgive me? Because again, if you don't ask them for forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, nah. Now, the last room that we had 2 weeks ago, when
Uh-huh.
we was talking about it in the after show, I did get a little bit of pushback, from folks that on the replays,
Uh-huh.
because I called it a power trip, which for me, because it's not my apology language, it was
Right.
like, okay, because sometimes you have some people that want to have the power of feeling like whether they forgive you or not. Okay.
Right.
But if you
Okay,
really
and
look at
that's
all
true.
5 of the apology languages,
Mm-hmm.
there's a way where each one of them can really run amok
Mm-hmm.
if they just that so hurt beyond repair. Like, say
Mm-hmm.
with restitution, you can
Mm-hmm.
make them try to keep paying for it, and they can paying for it, and paying for it, and paying for
Mm-hmm.
it, even excessive. Or
Mm-hmm.
with the genuine repenting, it's like, look, there's different ways you can just really just let it run amok. But 5 is the one where it's like, yeah, they gotta hear it. Like if you do not ask verbatim, will you forgive me?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even mean it's almost like, I don't care what you. The fact that you ain't asked me to forgive you, eh,
Uh-huh.
to me, it's like a
Wow.
power trip. But it's one of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the 5. Yeah,
And
You
sometimes
know,
people they're not quite ready for that
correct.
reconciliation. They're
That's if
not
they need
quite
more
ready
time,
for it. Yes, I need more
especially
time
if they need
to
more time to process it.
process. Uh-huh.
Fine, okay.
Yep.
Then it's like, but the responsibility is once you come to that point
Mm-hmm.
as a person, if that is your apology language,
Mm-hmm.
then what you have to do is a twofold part. You have to now go back to that person when you're
Mm-hmm.
ready and say, hey, I finally got in the state of mind to where I can, because sometimes with conflict, some people can't take it right at once. They have to
Uh-huh.
just sit there, woosah, it got to go off
Mm-hmm.
and go in their secret place, or pray
Mm-hmm.
with it, or Lord, or let God really deal with them on that. And
Right.
then, just like the Bible talks about, if you know your brother have an ought against you, to leave your gift at the altar, go be reconciled, and then you come back.
Oh.
That's especially for somebody who's a number 5. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you can't be going, okay, well, I ask forgiveness, and then you just sit there and hold on to it. No,
Mm-hmm.
you got to, once you deal with, that means you had to go deal with it, and you had to go process it, and let the Spirit, move with you to do that, and then you come back. Go deal with your brother, and then you come back and deal with the affairs of the kingdom.
Right. Go ahead,
you
Pastor
know,
Chuck. What were you saying?
I I want to challenge a lot of people on this one, especially because you're talking about you may not be ready to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at what point are we going to be ready to obey God?
Mm.
Because if God said forgive, He didn't say forgive when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if that's the case, if God told me to forgive, it's not based on whether or not I'm ready or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, remember, I said forgiveness has nothing to do with the person or
Right.
what they did. It's my obedience to God. So,
Mm.
if I'm not
Yeah.
ready to forgive, then it's saying that I don't want to do what God says right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
actually putting me in jeopardy with God. That's putting my relationship with God. That's coming between me and God, has nothing to do with you.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why we have to really get a hold. A lot of the stuff that we do is human experience,
Mm-hmm.
it's world experience, it's emotional stuff that we embrace. But we've got to recognize that we're going to be believers. We got to change how we think and how we operate,
Mm-hmm.
because it puts us in a place where we wonder why we're not operating at our maximum capacity, why we're not operating in the will of God, why we're not seeing the things that we desire to come to pass, why our faith isn't working the way that we think it should, because we're hindering ourselves by some of the things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got to start thinking about how we going about some of this stuff. The Bible says if you've got aught with your brother, take it to him. And so the fact of the matter is, if somebody's hurt you, then you go bring it to their attention.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't say go tell them you need to apologize to me, or you need to ask me for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. It just says bring
Nowhere in
it
the
to
Bible,
them.
nowhere in the Bible does
Mm-hmm.
it tell you that. That's not biblical.
Mm-hmm. To
Because
ask for
now, once
forgiveness.
again, it doesn't tell you to go ask them to forgive you, to
Oh.
ask for your forgiveness.
Uh-huh.
It tells you to go and let them know that they have offended you,
Mm.
because they may not be aware of it.
Amen.
That's true. That is
If I
very
step,
true.
if I got on a pair of steel
Yep.
toe shoes and you
Mm-hmm.
got on open toe shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and I walk by and step on your foot, I don't even know I stepped on your foot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now you're offended. Pastor Chuck stumped my toe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. I just kept walking.
Mm.
And so now you offended with me because I did something that I wasn't even aware that I did. And that's why the Bible says, instead of you staying in that place of offense,
Mm-hmm.
go to him and
Mm-hmm.
tell him that he offended you. And at that point, it's up to me how I handle that. And if I say, well, I don't care, then that's my problem now between me and God. But he's already instructed you to forgive me. He didn't instruct you to go and demand forgiveness from me.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's so
And whether
hard,
I
too.
say I'm sorry, whether or not I say, well, I'll buy you a new pair of shoes, whether or not I say, oh, I didn't mean to, that you know, that I wasn't paying attention to where I was walking.
He didn't say all that.
Whether or not I say I'm gonna take you to the doctor, or whether I say, well, next time I'll step off the sidewalk when I see you. Whether or not I go through each of these 5 things or not, it doesn't matter. Your responsibility is to simply forgive me because I'm human, because God forgave you in your humanity.
Man, that's tough. That is tough. That's tough sometimes, no, Pastor Tuck. How do we get beyond that? Because sometimes that's tough just to go there and ask for either forgiveness or, go and say, I've offended you. I'm sorry if I offended you. Some people can't even open up to do that.
And that's the thing. Our responsibility is to extend the same grace that we received. And so it's just that simple. What God has done for us, we're supposed to do for others. And so if you want to hold somebody to a standard, you got to look at the same standard that God holds you to.
Wow.
And that's what the Bible says. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So you got to look at it. I got to treat people the same way that I expect to be treated. He said, for the same measure you meet, that's going to be the measure that's measured unto you. He said, so the same way that you try to judge everybody else, he said, is that the way you want to be judged?
Right.
So that simply tells me now, this is how I've got to change how I look at people. This is how I deal with people, because is that how God deals with me?
Right. So we have to.
And
be
if
open
not,
to
then
do
I need to go back and check myself.
And like I said, 5 has always been, like I said, for me problematic. But I get it again. Like I said, it is there because again, the fact that they need to hear, just like they need to hear the sorry, they need to hear you ask them for forgiveness. It goes into the innate of their peace of mind. So again, like I said, is there is there, but again, with all 5 of them, there's pieces to where if you let it fester too long, it can go run amok, and then it dilutes the quality of the apology. I call it quality of the apology. It dilutes all of it, and then so. And
But
again, I
it's so
wanted to
funny.
add this one other.
What's real funny about that, Paul? You said those same people that said they need to hear you say that. They need to hear you ask for forgiveness to be the same people that said, well, God knows my heart.
Oh, so they won't ask. Or they won't
Those
they
same
won't
people.
say it. They won't
Those
say
same
it.
people.
That's
God knows
definitely
my
it.
heart.
Daily I shall.
Oh yeah,
those
okay.
same
Let's
people.
let's get that one.
Those same people now.
Yep.
And so that's why I say we got to be careful how we stepping.
Yeah, because I know one thing that got me is what got me again on this whole tip was reading that book that I talked about, the things I wish I knew before I got married, and then I remember I was on Facebook and Kevin Hart was on there apologizing for he did a whole Facebook live and apologizing for cheating on his wife. And again, like I said, it was like watching The Matrix for the first time because the only people who was defending him in the conference in the comments was the same people who had the same apology language he had, but they're getting buried by the other 4.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
they get buried by the other 4. And I was like, you know what? Social media does not allow for nuance. It does not allow for growth. It definitely does not allow for forgiveness. I said, you know what? I don't need this. I mean, I said I was like 30 years old by the time Facebook just really just said, you know what? I don't need this. I'm out. So that's part of the reason why I don't have a personal Facebook account anymore. Any of my friends and family, they know they can get me on Messenger. But as to why I shut down my Facebook account, that's the reason why I shut down, because I was like, you know what? I don't need this. If we cannot have forgiveness, then that means we cannot, or repenting, which means we cannot have restitution, We cannot have reconciliation, and my personal
Right.
favorite, we cannot have redemption.
Oh,
Going
wow.
back into the right standing, not only with Christ and with God, but with each other here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say I'm
Wow.
out.
Well, we're gonna pick this up in just a minute, but we got to pay our sponsors. Got to pay the. Well, we got to get our sponsors for the tab. So we're going to be right back after this word, and we're going to come back and talk more with Paul Briggs and Pastor Tuck about the apology language. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Aaron Bishop, and this is my new book, For Such a Time as This, The Urgency of Now. In today's society, we need transformational leaders like never before. Transformational leaders are those who maximize the impact while creating positive change. If you're ready to create positive change and maximize your impact, please go get my book today at bishopspeaks.com. That's right, bishopspeaks.com, and order your copy today for such a time as this.
At my church, we help people get better by teaching them how the word works, and we want to make sure there is no excuse not to get the word. It's our goal to make all of our ministries accessible on every smartphone, tablet, PC, and television connected to the internet. So whether you're a man who needs some wisdom, a woman who needs some encouragement, or a couple who needs guidance, the My Church channel has just what you need. Simply search for the My Church channel on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV, or visit mychurchchannel.org. You can also download the My Church on the Go app from Apple or Google Play App Store. Constantly on the move? Check out the Word at My Church podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Or simply download the Word at My Church skill on your Alexa-enabled device. But whatever you do, make sure to stay connected. See you soon.
If you're just joining us, Ak is not in the building today. He's at the Stellar Awards, and Pastor Tuck and I are sitting in today. We have our guest Paul Briggs on today, and we're talking about the apology language. Yes. But first, are you in the need of a quality used vehicle? Well, consider my friends over at Woods Automotive Sales. Whether you're in the market for a new vehicle or a used vehicle, foreign or domestic, Woods Automotive can get you rolling. Give them a call at 803-401-5837. That's 803-401-5837. Or go by and see Lester at 802 Hazelwood Road in Columbia, South Carolina. Woods Automotive Sales, guaranteed to ride with a smile. Also, want a better way to make your money grow that's potentially better than any 401k or CD? Consider the Gold Standard Group, banking on the blockchain. Learn more about blockchain banking by reaching out to legacy wealth builder and asset acquisition specialist, billionaire Keisha Walker. With so many banks failing and changes in the marketplace, now is the time to get more information. Text CONTROL to 803-312-2873. Once again, text CONTROL to 803-312-2873. Keisha Walker and the Gold Standard Group. Yes, that's who we want to see. And our last one, are you in need of affordable health or life insurance? I am going to not say this one, and I apologize, but we do have a sponsor that is doing affordable health and life insurance, and Ak is going to tell you all about that when he comes back on Tuesday. All right, so guys, so we talked about the 5 love languages. Okay, the 5 apology languages. I have some questions. Okay, all right, so I want you to give the best answers, and family, in the comments you can drop your what you want to do as well. The first one I'm going to read, I just want to get your response, your honest response. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just your honest response. This is the apology language quiz. All right? You guys ready? You guys ready? Yeah. Are you guys ready in the comments as well? All right, let's go. All right. This is the first one. Number 1. It's more meaningful to me when someone asks me, A, can you possibly forgive me? Or B, what can I do to mend our relationship? Okay. Paul, you're up first. Which one? It's more meaningful to me when someone asks me, A, can you possibly forgive me? B, what can I do to mend our relationship?
Okay, so basically 5 and 3. I'm going with 3. I'm always gonna go with 3.
Okay.
If it's 5 and 3, I'm going with 3. So
is that to mend the relationship?
Yes. I'm going with mend the relationship.
Pastor Tuck?
I'm always difficult. I say neither. Don't ask me. Do something to mend the relationship.
But if you had to pick, you only have A or B.
That's 3 though, Pastor Tuck.
No, but
I'm
saying, don't ask me. Do something to mend the relationship. I don't care what you do. If you do something, that to me will mend the relationship.
Okay, so that would be B. That'd be
but
B.
They may not know how to do that, and they're asking
but if
for
you
help.
asking
This is a mix between 3 and 4 because they may be asking.
But that's
for
what
help.
I'm saying.
How
If you asking me, I'm gonna tell you that actually irritates me, and I'll give you the example. You know I'm difficult. I'll give you the example. If I'm talking to you,
y'all thought I was the difficult one.
No,
Exhibit A.
no, I'm telling you, I'm a very particular person. I'm dealing with Donna at the Delta counter. Y'all done messed up my flight. Y'all done lost my bags and everything else. Yep. And I'm standing here at the counter, and you the rep. And then you ask me, well, what would you like us to do about it? You, the customer service agent, offer me something. Don't ask me what I want.
Just ask you something.
If you would just say, well, sir, we're gonna give you some miles.
Would you be okay with that?
I would be fine with it. If you say you'll give me a free flight, I would take it.
Oh yeah, a free flight, he'll take it.
I'm that guy. It don't even matter to me how small it is. I'm not. All I want to do is see some effort on your part to make it right. But see, if you sit there and tell me, well, I'm sorry. What?
That's it.
And why are you the customer service professional asking me what I want? Because see, now when I sit there and tell you, give me $1 million, then you're gonna look at me like I'm crazy.
Because I'm gonna tell you, this is what we have to offer. Pick one.
Thank you.
This is what we have to offer. Pick one. Okay.
Thank you.
So that's number one.
And that's why I said, so don't ask me what to do to make the relationship better. Do something. Offer me something. Make an effort.
All right. Let's go to question number 2. It's more meaningful to me when someone says, A, I don't want to do this again, so I will come up with ways to avoid mistakes like this in the future. A. Or B, I apologize for my actions. You obviously don't have to forgive me, but I hope you will. Okay? It's more meaningful to me when someone says,
all day.
I don't want to do this again, so I will come up with ways to avoid mistakes like this in the future. Yep. Okay.
Hey, all day. Just like you said, you putting in some effort.
Restitution.
That's all I need to do is see some effort.
Well, it's a little bit more shaded to 4 though, because the fact that the plan change is more of a thing of now they didn't ask what
That's
the
repentance.
thing is, but they may come to you and say, hey, what I'm going to do to change is this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to X, Y, Z. So
I'm going to anger management. I'm going to anger management. I'm going to set up me an accountability partner. I'm going to start if you're in a relationship and your husband been watching pornography, I'm going to start putting my phone in the kitchen at night. You know, I'm going to do something like I said. That's actually repentance.
Okay.
That's actually making a change, a plan for change.
Okay. All right, let's go to number 3. We have 5. Since we have 5, we got 5. It's more meaningful to me when someone says, A, okay, I admit it, I made a big mistake, or B, I want to grow from this experience. Would you be willing to help me figure out some steps to handle this type of situation better? It is more meaningful to me when someone says, okay, I admit it, I made a big mistake. Or B, I want to grow from this experience. Will you be willing to help me figure out steps to handle this situation better?
Now, in this case, I'll take B because you asked for help versus asking me what to do. Because you asked for help, I can't turn you down. Because you asked for help.
Okay.
There is nuance there. But see, when you ask me what to do, I'm like, oh, so you don't want to put in no effort. Do you see what I'm saying? But when you ask for help, now I'm obligated to help
me. Okay. All right.
I'm more of that
What'd
now.
you say?
I wanted this ties into a comment that I actually saw on YouTube. A dear colleague of mine, college buddy of mine, Franklin Howard said, people are usually apologizing for who they are, not what they have done. And so the first scenario reminds me in that shade, you know, and just, yeah. So that's why it was like, when you asked that question, I'm like, it hit me back to what Frank's comment was. So I wanted to bring that up. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going with the ask for help.
Okay. Cool. All right. Number 4. It's more meaningful to me when someone tells me, A, I know what I did was wrong, or B, I'm so sorry. I feel terrible that I let you down.
I want Pastor Tuck to go first on this because
Pastor Tuck, come on, you got to pick A or B.
Neither.
Because you know why? Because this is 1 versus 2. 2 versus 1, right?
Both of them are just words to me.
They're just words. He said that. He's been saying that from the beginning. They're both words.
He's gonna be 10 toes and 10 fingers down. Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
I'm going to go with 2 just because again, depending on what the situation. Again, I have a small part in my heart to where, but if you're a Type A personality, I just want you to own it. Don't do nothing. I just want you to own it. That's just my personality.
I think to most people, 2 seems more sincere.
I felt like that with my mom. When I saw that question, I was like, yeah, that's how I felt. I'm sorry. I feel terrible that I let you down because I saw the disappointment and the sadness in her face. And that just, that just broke my heart. And I can still see it just like I'm looking at it right now. So for me,
but I want you to think for a minute. Think about that skit Ock did talking about when he missed Eunice's event. And talking about when she came in, I'm a terrible husband. I should have never done it. Now, how sincere was that?
It was.
Do you see what I'm saying?
He took all the blame, but he took all the responsibility it could.
So that's why I said exactly. All he did was try to escape punishment. That's why I said words don't mean nothing. Words don't mean nothing.
Yep. Okay.
But it could be his Damascus moment though. I'm just trying to give him benefit of his doubt. It could be his Damascus moment. Or as I like to say, when he told
on himself in the comedy skit. He was trying to get out of trouble.
He was trying to get out of trouble. He said it. Okay, our last one, number 5.
That's another example of it running amok. When I say all the apology languages, the deviousness of where it can just run amok. It's just like,
oh man,
I'm just such a horrible person. I've treated you so bad. I don't deserve you. Really, bro, stop.
That's just a manipulation technique.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. Okay, number 5. It's more meaningful to me when someone tells me, what can I do or say to make things right between you and me? Or B, I had a bad attitude and it showed. I should have thought more about what I was doing.
Like I tell you, neither.
I knew Pastor Tuck was going to say neither.
Neither.
No, the first one is number 3.
What can I do or say to make things right between you
because
and
they're
me?
asking what. That's right. That's right. They ask.
You ain't showing
Okay,
me nothing.
yeah. Okay,
You
that's right.
want me to tell you once again, put in some effort.
He's
Put in some
consistent.
effort.
He's consistent.
He's a
I need some effort.
3.5. He cannot be
Yeah.
3 or 4. He's 3.5. He's
Yeah.
3.
I need some effort. I need some effort.
I
need
had
a
a bad
plan. I need
attitude.
at least a plan. If you came and told me, this is what and this is what I'm gonna do to make it better. Okay, now at least you put some thought in. You asking me, you ain't even willing to think about it.
Wow. Well, yep. Pastor Tuck, you are consistent with that. You do not want you do want them to make a change and fix it. Fix it. Just whatever it is. I don't care if you don't apologize.
Don't talk
I
about
just
it.
need
Let's
you
be
to
about
fix it. That's it.
Don't talk about it. Let's be about it.
Paul, are you a little bit more flexible in that?
Yes, I'm a little bit more. I'm a little bit more flexible. A little bit more grace to attack. But I it's just that it's almost like, for example, my love language is gifts. So it's kind of like if people, I can kind of understand what Pastor Tucker is because like if people ask me what I want, and it's like, okay, you can take any coherent thought to know what I do, like what I like, what I talk about, what I do, enough like you hadn't been around me enough to know. But I like, okay, you know what? At least they asked me, so they want to make sure they don't get me nothing crazy or get me stuff that I don't wear or something like that. I'm like, have you ever seen me in these colors? I don't wear periwinkle and seafoam. I'm just leaving that. Or give me iridescent. I'm good with that. Yeah, I don't know. What are we talking about? Yeah, so it's kind of the same concept,
If you gonna ask me, just give me the money.
Right.
Make it easy, right?
If you're not gonna put in the effort, then give me the money.
Right. Because it does mean more to me if you thought of it. And then you give it, oh wow, that touched my. So the same way, so this is where it's kind of the yin and the yang. So in the apology language, Pastor Tuck's thing is like, if you're gonna make restitution, at least give me a plan of how you're going to do it. Not asking what can I do to make it go to the.
Just
then it's
give
like,
me a plan.
dude,
that's a cop out. That's like you don't care that's my language. You just saying, well, since that's your language, what you want?
Right.
And please, ladies and gentlemen, do not say that when you oh my God, because that's like the
but that's really but that's what you're saying when you say how should I that's what you're saying. Since that's your language, what you want me to do?
The part
that's
I'm talking about is
what you just
verbatim is saying that when you know that you offended them, well, I'm doing this because that's your apology language. That does not help the situation at all.
Right.
Please don't say that. Even if you think of that, please don't say that verbatim.
It sounds more it sounds disingenuous. That's right. That's the word.
But that's exactly what you're saying when you say, how do you want me to make it up to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what you just said. Well, since this your apology language, what you want? That's no different. That's what you just said.
But you can say that with any of the other 5, though. Well, exactly. I'm going to ask you to forgive me because I know this is your apology language.
Exactly.
Please don't say that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But
because that's the same with the love language. Well, I'm gonna give you gifts because I know that's your love language. Like,
well, here goes some flowers since that's what you like.
That's what I'm gonna do, because that's what you like. But you know what I like? You know what I like, guys?
Don't show us how the sausage is made. Don't do that.
This is what I like.
Cricket letters.
It's time. It's time for the Kingdom Business Word right now.
I'm a hand of my B, U, crooked letter I, N, E, crooked letter.
All right. It's Kingdom Business.
Let's go. I'm a hand of my business. I'ma be about my business. I'ma go and handle this business. Cause it's kingdom. I'm a hand of my business.
Crooked letter. All right. Well, today, our Kingdom Business person is Chef Alyssa Blaylock. She says, for we walk by faith, not by sight. I am called to the brokenhearted to help bring God's healing and restoration to hearts, minds, and lives through the power of prayer, writing, and speaking. I have been anointed to set the captives free. Okay. And I'm going to skip down a little bit. A little about me. I'm a daughter of the King and chosen mother to one becoming. I am completely enraptured by God and find immense joy in sharing my faith, encouragement, and journey with others. I am everything the I am says that I am. Yes, yes. So go ahead and follow Chef Alyssa Blaylock. She's our kingdom business person today. All right, Chef Alyssa. Okay, thank you. So now we're just gonna wrap things up, gentlemen. If you can give us the five the five apology languages, and we're gonna wrap it up. From here, go ahead, Paul. Give us the five apology languages one more time, just in order.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but as expressing regret,
Uh huh.
taking responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
making restitution,
Mm-hmm.
plan change, or some people will call it genuine repenting, and
Mm-hmm.
then requesting forgiveness. Those are the five.
Yes. So if
Yes,
you
and so
if
and there is a quiz online.
mm-hmm.
And I'll have that on the after show. The
Okay.
quiz online with the after show. We're calling it today. Sorry, not sorry. Respectfully.
Oh, nice. Okay, so if you look in the comments today, you'll see where you can go into the room, the after show room, after Ox show, and it is say the title of it again, Paul.
It's called
Sorry.
Sorry, Not Sorry, Respectfully. Because you know
All
the
right.
kids now say respectfully. Like
Respectfully.
anything, they just throw the respectfully at the end.
Mhm.
So,
All
but
And
right.
it
in
ain't,
there, I'll
and that
have a
means
quiz.
it's not respectfully.
It's
I
not
know, but
respectfully.
it's
Yeah,
their way of just
yeah,
trying to say respectfully.
Quote,
So,
quote, air
right, air
quotes.
quotes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
So I'll
Mm-hmm.
have in there the quiz
Shade.
that you can take if you don't know what your say if you don't know what your apology language. For some
Exactly.
people, somebody listening to this podcast, this may be
Mm-hmm.
the first time they ever heard of it. They may have heard the
That's
love
right.
languages, but they've never heard the apology languages, and they'll be
Right.
like, "I don't even know what mine is." You know, you can
Right.
take this quiz and like how Donna, basically what Donna asked. Those are the things, and
Those are
then
some of the
once you get
questions.
through, it'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
which ones are your strong ones, and you know, and all of
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. And they give you because I took that test, and mine was forgiveness 32%, regret 28%, plan change 20%, accept responsibility 12%, and make restitution 8%. Those
Really?
were So I was like, ooh, okay, all
Well,
right.
Pastor Tut, this is how she balances out, and this is how she heard the cats. So,
Oh, woo, get them cats in order,
ooh,
But okay, well, guys, I thank you guys so much for showing up today for OC. If you weren't, if you're just logging on or just tuning in, OC is not here today. So we kind of came together and we pulled the show together. And we had Paul Briggs on here talking about the apology language. Pastor Tuck is here. So I'm going to, Paul, if you have some, we're going to wrap it up with you, Paul. And then Pastor Tuck, you can close it on, close it out with your comments. And then we're going to close out.
yeah, and we'll get out on time today. So,
Yes.
I would like to first of all thank my family, my mom, my dad, Paul E. Senior and Virginia Briggs, my two sisters, Angela Renee and April Christina Briggs, and then of course my brother in love, as I like to say, my covenant brother,
Uh-huh.
Kendrick Tabor, and the grandchild of the family, Caleb Alexander Tabor. I call him Un Gato Grande, the big cat.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So, yeah. So he's a miracle child. Was born 1 pound 15 ounces, and now
Oh,
he turned 3 on the 25th of
all
last month, and now just seeing him grow and everything, head full of hair.
yes.
I don't know where he got it from. He didn't get it from his uncle. But but yeah, but I'm thankful for him and all my family. United Families of America, the Moores family, the Robinsons, the Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Thankful for all my collegiate friends who've been listening in today. GSU
Mm-hmm.
Zoo crew, the COG All Stars, the COG All Stars as I call them,
All
the
right.
Remnant. I got a whole bunch of people. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I'm thankful for all of them listening. And of course, the after show crew, because they've been waiting on
Right.
this. And for some people on Clubhouse, this is the first time they even seen what I look like.
Oh,
So with the
wow.
PTR and stuff. So yes, I am real. I am a real person, but I am thankful for the show. I'm thankful for Akintunde. I've been listening to the show now for about a solid 6 months, and I fell in, and the love and warmth that you guys have given to me and to everyone that's in the comments and as part of this community and this tribe. I'm really thankful. The impact of what you guys are doing, it cannot go understated. So
Oh,
God be
thank
praised,
you.
and Jesus, and so I just want to say that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Do you have anything coming up, Paul? You got anything coming up that you want to let us
Let's
know?
see.
Know
Yeah,
about?
because we're about to get into football season, so I'll be traveling
Yay!
to the city near you.
Woo-hoo!
Awesome. So I may be coming back to Columbia. You never
Okay.
know. I
Come
was
on,
in
come
Columbia
on.
last season, so
Mm-hmm.
I definitely now have a vested interest to come back. You know,
Yes, come
I just
on.
need South Carolina, the state DOT, to fix the potholes.
Oh,
Between
man.
77 and 85 and 95. I just need them to
Well,
get that right. I know that
we
we
pray
still
for
believe in
that
God.
all the time. We pray for
That's
that because
I
every
know.
time we hit a pothole, it's like,
I'm
oh,
definitely
Lord
coming to your
Jesus.
neck of the woods
Uh-huh.
because Lynchburg, I will be doing some games. Prayers go through. I'll be doing some games at Liberty this season. So
Hmm.
maybe on one of these Sundays after a game or whatever, I can come and worship with you guys.
Okay.
Down there
All
in
right.
Lynchburg.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Pastor Tuck, you got the final words up there. And did you want to say your announcement?
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay.
It's official. The
Mm-hmm.
My Church channel is not only available on Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV, but now we are also available on Google TV. So if you got a Google TV, Chromecast, Android TV, you can now get the My Church channel on that as well. It is official. So go ahead and download that if you have a Google TV. Like I said, so God is truly expanding our territory. We're excited about that. But tell your friends, tell your family, let everybody know. Go out and download the My Church channel. Like I said, God is doing big things in the kingdom.
All right. All right. All right. So, Pastor Tuck, you want to say anything about our show today? Me
Yeah,
and you,
like I
huh?
said, regardless of what your apology language is, just
Mm-hmm.
make sure you forgive. Because, like I said, you don't want to have unforgiveness and offense keeping distance between you and God, because like I say, it's not about what the person did to you. It's not about the person themselves. It's about your obedience to God. And God told you to forgive. So I don't care how you do it. Just make sure you do it. Just
All
make
right.
sure you walk in forgiveness. And like I said, and if you've offended somebody, be man or woman enough to make sure that you make amends. Make sure that you live in peace, because that's what the Bible tells us to do, to live in peace with one another. So let's make sure that we're mindful of the relationships we have.
All right. Okay.
Amen. Amen.
Well, yeah. So we
And
want
it
to.
definitely will lead
Hey.
to reconciliation and redemption. That's what. Oh my God. It's nothing
Mm-hmm.
like a good redeeming story. When
Mm-hmm.
you hear, of like when the prodigal son, when he came back, and being redeemed, that's one of the most powerful parables I think Jesus ever spoke. Because of the redeeming, how we have been redeemed, by the blood of the Lamb. And so the
Amen.
same thing, that redemption. After
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so
All
love it.
right. Well, Paul, thank you for joining us today. Pastor Tuck, we're here all the time, so thank you for joining me today too, Pastor Tuck. Thank you for coming on, and we kind of held it down for him. I hope we held it down for you guys, family. We got Jaleel, we have Tristan, we have Eric in the house, we have Lexus in the house today. So the gang's all here. We're supporting Ak and what he's doing, and will be so happy when he comes back on Tuesday, and we know you will too, because after all, this is the Akintunde show, and you want
And
to see
shout out
him.
to Jason
So
Earls. Jason
shout out
Earls.
to Jason, who is so busy, but we keep him in our prayers. And anytime he's ready to come on, his slot is still open. So we enjoy Jason so much, but we do understand he is doing God's work, and he's got to do what he has to do and stay focused. focused on that. But we want to say thank you, family. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here. Ak will be back on Tuesday, and we will get right back to doing what we normally do, and that's have fun. So anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Donna J., Pastor Tuck, and Paul Briggs, and we say thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Akintunde Show. Peace.